Hello everyone and welcome back to part 2 of my video on social anxiety, my story, a spiritual perspective. What I'd like to do really now is tell you how things went for me during my early years at the workplace, the early years of my marriage, having children. I'll just go over very briefly, giving you examples of periods where I discovered how I could help myself. And I thought a very good way of doing that would be, because I'm a tarot reader, we just asked Spirit to give me a card. Well, they've flung out two there, just for a starting point for us, to make things a bit more interesting, a bit more exciting. I find this subject is so heavy that it can be quite hard going to listen to. Of course, that's been an example of our lives for those of us who have suffered and still do suffer with social anxiety. But we can always lighten things up. And I thought this would be a nice little example of ways that we can do that. And it also highlights spirit and how it supports us. And spirit can be very funny and lift the mood as well. So I thought, why not just use this as a tool? So here goes. So what flew out there was the Ten of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. The Ten of Swords is all about difficult endings, and the Six of Pentacles is about fairness, equal give and take. Let's see what the bottom card is. This usually tells the story what the bottom card is. Yeah. And this is about community, socializing, celebration. So how apt is that? So where I'm going to start is telling you about my difficult ending. I suppose the difficult ending is when I discovered that I had this problem and that I was going to have to work through this for the rest of my adult life. And it was very daunting. I used to cry in bed at night, worrying about how I would navigate through my life. And again, I'm sure many of you are sitting there going, yeah, I hear you, girl. It's no joke. And a lot of times we can feel like suicidal. We just don't really want to navigate through it. But luckily enough for me, the help seemed to show itself at the right time, and little snippets of information came to me, and I seemed to have an inner longing for the information and the hope, really. I was looking at my little stone here. Hope that things will get better. Okay, and I want to give you that hope and tell you that they will, as long as you show a willingness to help yourself. Things will get better, but you have to help yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you, okay? So talking about this difficult ending and the equal give and take, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So you're here. You're at a place of, well, it can't get any worse than the Ten of Swords. It's the worst card in the deck. But what it also says to you is things can only get better. Look at that big white expansive space all around her, okay? So we're going to put that Ten of Swords away and forget about it now, because we're not there anymore. We're here in a place of equality, in a place of giving in order to receive, and vice versa, because that's the way the universe works, okay? And then that will bring us where we want to be, in a place of community, celebration, being happy. You see all the purple there? Also very spiritual place. And any of you that are drawn to watch this video, this is a video for people who are of spiritual mind. I know a lot of people who suffer from anxiety, social phobia, whatever you want to talk it, and they're maybe not spiritually minded, and they mightn't even consider watching this, and that's fine. They'll find their own way. They'll find tools in other people who are more, what would be the correct word, academic in their thinking, and that's fine too. So of course underneath this we have the Eight of Swords, and that is the representation of anxiety. So that's perfect. So we're going from there to there. All right. So when I started my working life, the first job I just did for 2 years, it was in a typing pool. Yes, that's how old I am, in a typing pool. And it was a very closed environment. Because I was very good at the typing and very fast, all the work was put on me, and there was a bit of equality going on there. So I left there and I went to my second job where I stayed for 10 years, and that's where I met my husband. And that was lovely and everything, but what I done really when I met him was I became quite dependent on him emotionally, and really I shouldn't have, because he turned out to be a narcissist, because he had a lot of his own emotional problems that he hadn't addressed. So the two of us talk about like attracts life. Like we can't speak. We attracted each other, and we weren't really that good for each other. The marriage lasted 17 years. We had 3 children, but as regards emotional fulfillment, it definitely wasn't there. And we both struggled, and we both became very unhappy in each other's company. So be careful who you choose, be mindful, and understand that when you have this disorder, I don't even like calling it a disorder, when you have this emotional blockage, I'd like to call it, you are still actually discovering who you are, the truth of who you are. So in a way, you're not really ready for a relationship, because you have this big blockage within you that needs to be resolved before you can actually feel like you can give out to other people. But a lot of us just muddle through, and that's what I done. I muddled through, and we had 3 beautiful children, and they were my hope, and they really helped me work through each hurdle that came along, because it was no longer all about me and focusing on me and my inadequacies. It was, how can I be the best mother that I can be for these 3 little boys? And they encouraged me to keep searching, keep reading, keep trying to be connected to something higher than myself. So the job I went into next, I had a boss who was a really nice man, but I'm sure many of you have this as well. I seem to have a fear of him. I seem to focus in that whole time that I was working there on him and how he made me feel. For some reason, he made me feel anxious and nervous, and like I couldn't be myself around him. I felt like he was judging me. Really, this was me judging myself, which I know now. And I felt unworthy of someone even giving me attention, because he was quite a high-powered guy. And when I look back now on the situation with me in school, the teacher was quite high up as well, and she was giving me a lot of attention, and I just didn't like it. And this is what I've discovered. There's a lot of unworthiness underneath this anxiety disorder. So, I mean, be easy on yourselves, because that is definitely where it stems from, whether you realize that or not. Now, you will in the future. So, anyway, what happened in that job was the guy that I was working with, he turned out that he was stealing. So it had to be brought to an industrial tribunal. And of course, I had to go and give evidence. Well, you can imagine what anybody with social anxiety would feel about that. And again, it was it wasn't like a big courtroom or anything. It was like a room full of people. And it was close knit, and I just felt I can't cope with this. So what I done was I got a little diazepam through my cousin, and I thought I'll take one or two of those every time I go in, and that's how I got through that. But obviously that's not the answer, and it certainly wasn't the answer for me. After that episode of the tribunal, I got a tension headache, which was like a vice around my head. It was like someone pulling a band around your head and squeezing your head in at the sides. And I had that tension headache for 6 months. So it was time for me to go back to work after the 6 months. I had to take the time off work because obviously I couldn't function, and I went into a deep depression about this. I just saw 11:11 on my timer there, so that's very poignant there. This does cause depression, so be mindful of that. And if you do feel that you are sinking into a depression, don't be afraid to ask for help from the medical profession or from outside bodies like hypnotherapists or healers. You know, even if you're not feeling if you're feeling that's not for me, you'll give it a go, because you don't want to be letting yourself go too deep into a depression. And that's where I was headed. And into my awareness came a hypnotherapist. He was a man who was very famous on the cruise ships. Here in Belfast is where he was based, and I booked a session with him. I brought my little 3-year-old boy and my husband then with me, and he just sat me in a chair, put me into a beautiful relaxed state through meditation. And when I went out of that house, I did not have the headache anymore after having it for 6 months. So that was a very empowering tool. What he sent me away with the meditation and told me to practice it and to use the feeling I got from the meditation every time I felt myself in the situation. Say, for example, when I heard my boss's footsteps coming down the corridor. So my body would react, because it would be connecting with the amygdala, which holds a memory in your brain that says, oh, it's time for Deborah to react in this way, because this is how she reacts when this person comes into her awareness. So I was able to pull in this tool of bringing myself into the relaxed state. And even while I wasn't sitting in a chair putting myself into hypnosis, I was able just to recall the feeling. And I'll do some more videos to explain how you can do that as well. It's very simple, and you will love them, because they are very empowering and they will help you loads. They really will. So I thought, well, that's great, I can do that. And of course I would go up and I would go down, and I went through the years of my children growing up, still searching, still reading the books, still trying to find this information, that I knew there was something better for me. And I met a lovely man, and he saw something in me that nobody else did. And he said to me, Deborah, I really feel, because you're so spiritual, I feel you should go and do Reiki or something, and just get yourself into that arena where there will be people like-minded who will help you, and you'll be able to talk and perhaps find something. So that's what I done. He recommended a man in his street who had just become a Reiki Master. I had about 20 sessions with him. At the time, I was going through the menopause, so he completely cleared that up within 6 weeks for me. And he referred me on to his teacher, and I went there, and it was like a complete awakening for me. I did my level 1, level 2, and my level 3, and my master teacher, Reiki attunements, and inside 1 year. And even with Reiki 1, the teacher said to the class, isn't Deborah just like a different person? So it was like someone had opened a door for me and give me permission to walk through that door and meet myself. And what I done then was work just on myself, connecting with myself and helping people and giving them a few sessions, nothing serious. I was still working in a 9-to-5 job. By this time I had my own business, so I was happier. I was just working in retail. I had a little baby wear company, and I was doing shopping centres and that, and interacting with people, because as I say, for me, crowds were never the problem. It was more intimate company that I began to become anxious with. But it's the same thing if you feel like that in big environments where there are a lot of people. It's just the same problem that needs to be solved. It's not acceptable that you should be feeling like that, and you deserve to find resolve. So that certainly empowered me, and I could feel the energy running through me. So if any of you do feel inclined to going and getting a Reiki session, or even getting a level 1 attunement, I would recommend that, because for a lot of you it will awaken you, and it will change you, and it always changes you for the positive. And you will be amazed at how different you feel and how empowered you feel. And you just never know where it's going to take you, because that's the thing about Reiki. It will take you on your path of self-realization. So what have you got to lose? If you feel drawn to it, that would be the first thing I would say to you. Go and get an attunement and see where that takes you. So another lovely story I want to tell you is I have a very good friend, and really when I just met her, she came into where I was working selling the baby wear, and she's a psychic, and she introduced herself to me, and she started all of a sudden telling me all these things about me that she couldn't possibly know. And I said to her, would you give me a reading? And she said, certainly, come along. So she didn't know anything about me. And I went and I got a reading off her, and she said to me, they're giving me a name here of something. She says, I think it's like a healing modality or something. And I said, okay, what is it? And I wrote it down, and she spelled it out, Theta, Theta. So I went home and I looked it up on the internet. I should always also say that this lady, she's an elderly lady, so she doesn't have any internet or anything like that. So she didn't know what this was either. This was given to her by spirit, and she'd never heard of it either. So I looked it up and felt very drawn to it. So what it is it is one-to-one conversational therapy. And again, it's when you're working from Theta, you just go through a very short meditation. It takes you a couple of seconds really when you teach it, and you just go up into it, and that's you in a place of connecting with divine source energy, and that's where you can actually download the truths of everything. So I thought this sounds really good. So it's removing belief systems that we hold from childhood that don't serve us. And I thought, that sounds good. And seeing as it came through from Spirit, I'll give it a go. So there was no one here in Ireland that done it. So my birthday was coming up, so I treated myself to a flight and an appointment over in London. Could have done it online, but I really wanted to experience it face to face. I didn't need to really. I could have just done it online, because I do all my sessions online, and they're just as effective, if not more, because you just feel so relaxed. But anyway, I went, had the session with the Theta healing lady, and by that stage I had had my third son, and my legs were so painful after I had him. For 13 years I was on very strong cocodamol tablets. I was taking about 8 of them a day. Now, again, I think this is linked in with the social anxiety, because I didn't know where I was going after I had him. I knew this was my last child, and I just felt quite fearful about where I was going in life. I knew my marriage was breaking down, and I just didn't know where I was going. So now I know the leg pains are all about moving forward in life, and I just didn't know where I was going and what I was doing. So after having the one-to-one conversation, the session with this lady, and she dug down and found the self-limiting beliefs, I was able to tell her my story, and she gave me the divine source's truth of what those beliefs were, not my beliefs, not the beliefs I was told from childhood, what the Creator's truth is about these beliefs, and what does serve me and what doesn't serve me. And she gave me all of that and asked me how I was feeling, and I said, well, I don't know how I'm feeling because I've so many painkillers in me. And she said, well, see how you get on in a few days. And I went on my way. Over the next few days, I just felt the pain rising out of my legs. As I say, I had this pain for 13 years, so it wasn't going to go instantly for me because I had had it that long, but I could actually feel it rising out of me. And within, I would say, less than a week, the leg pains had gone. The pains that I had suffered for 13 years had gone. So you may guess, I felt so different and so inspired, and I decided to go over to Scotland and learn this healing modality myself. And through that process, I went back and forth and did many modalities in it. And as I was doing that and working one-to-one with everyone else who was on the course, I was clearing my own system, all of my self-limiting beliefs, because this is where all this comes from. It comes from what we're told, okay? It comes from perhaps well-meaning parents guiding us to a life that maybe our soul just doesn't align with, and if you're a sensitive, compassionate, empathetic person, you don't want to hurt anybody and you just go along with things, whereas maybe someone in your family is more of a stronger personality and they would just say, oh no, then they would maybe rebel. Well, for people who have social anxiety and who are very sensitive, they will, most of the time, just conform and do what they're told. So I discovered all this, and it was such a journey of understanding me and what made me the way that I was. And I just find it so empowering now that I can help people and give one-to-one sessions with them online and help them free themselves up from their anxieties. And I get people now contacting me years later and saying, Deborah, I can't thank you so much for helping me. But really what they've done is they've helped themselves. In this modality, people are helping themselves to heal because they're taking that first step, And it's like this card says, you have to give to receive. And you have to be able to receive as well, open to receive. And to know that you can overcome this 10 of Swords. In the traditional tarot deck, the 10 of Swords is a man lying on the ground with 10 swords in his back. done. Well, you know, when you have social anxiety, that's how you feel. You just feel, I can't take any more of this, you know. But also in that traditional tarot deck, there's a horizon, okay? So in this card here, you can see her walking towards that horizon, you know, and all the birds are spirit guiding her. So what I would like to do now is pull another card and see what comes out, and just let Spirit take us to the next topic. I think this video has been long enough, and we'll just finish off with that. And then what I'm going to do is break up each topic. I'd like you to leave your comments and ask me any questions. If you would like to mention what you would want me to talk about, how I can help you further, please put that in the comments as well. And if you like my story and my journey and how I've helped myself, please like and subscribe, and that would help me support myself and the work that I do. So a card flew out there, oh my goodness, and it was the Fool. So that's taking off on a new journey and setting yourself free. I love that. And the bottom card, which is what it's all about, what we're talking about, is the card of victory. Do you see her standing in the spotlight with her arms up and saying, I'm here, I count, I'm not hiding anymore? I just love that. And there she was before the Nine of Swords, head down, just feeling there's no hope for me. No, there is. So, my goodness, what a lovely message. So, if you would like a session with me, you can book in with me through my website. The details are below, silvervalleyflame.com. Any questions, just ask and I'd be happy to answer. But other than that, I will leave you here and look out for the next video where I'll be concentrating on a certain topic within the arena of anxiety and how spiritually you can help yourself. And we'll see where we go from there. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.